Yo, what up, YouTube? And this is gonna be my first live video. I was actually debating on what I would want to talk about my first live video, but I actually decided that I wanted to do a response for a video that was posted on my Instagram in regards to a response to a question that the rapper Remy Ma was asked um, about whether or not she was okay with non African American people doing or saying the using the word nigger. Um, so just as a disclaimer, I would want to say, um, let's just say, come on, I need one subscriber. One subscriber, one subscriber, one viewer, one viewer, one viewer. Just get one viewer. I don't want to feel like I'm talking to myself, so I need at least one viewer. One viewer. Mm. You get more bones in a grave. It's true. Oh Lord, there are more bones in a grave. It's true. Yes, and I got one viewer. I was actually waiting for one viewer, so don't leave the chat. But this is my first live video with YouTube, and I actually wanted to make this live video in a response that to Remy Ma. Remy Ma actually posted a video today on my which was actually on my feed on Instagram, and the response was she actually responded to a question that she was asked, and the question was, how do she feel as a African American about people who are non-African American using the word nigger? And she responded that she was actually okay with it. A lot of people went in on Remy Ma for her response, stating that that's why she's not a popular rapper and so on and so forth. But I actually kind of agree with what Remy Ma was actually stating. I I don't, as an African American guy, I don't find it offensive that non African American people actually use the word nigger. It's just not offensive to me. I just feel like we just give so much, we give so much power to a word that I don't feel like is that serious. I mean, somebody used the word nigger. I don't care who I'm talking to. It could be an African American person, non-African American person. If you're cool with me or whatever, I may use it as a gesture, a term of endearment, or so on and so forth. But I feel like we give so much weight to this one word, and soon as somebody who is not African American uses the word nigger, we are quick to holler, "Oh, it's racist. It's too much. You have no right to use that word." I mean, I literally thought today when looking at that video on Instagram, like, who determines this stuff? Like, who determines that the word bitch is a horrible word? And please, just a disclaimer, if you are offended by foul language or so on and so forth, exit the channel. But who determines if the word bitch or fuck or asshole or all this other cursing, this curse words? Who determines that this stuff is considered not appropriate? I never understood like who would actually just sit back and decide like this word is not an appropriate word. Like, just for example, if I was just mad at somebody and I just yelled computer, would computer then become a negative word that people would interpret it to be negative? So I'm not quite understanding. I like as a person to keep an open mind to certain things, and if people views differ from my view, I'm not quick to attack them for their view. I try and understand where they might be coming from, where they might have a point, where they might have a point. And my video was in response to what Remy Ma stated. She was asked, how do she feel about non-African American people using the word nigger? And she stated that she don't necessarily have a problem with it as long as they are not using it in a racist way. And I have a lot of friends. I have friends of all backgrounds, Caucasians, Filipino, Hispanic, whatever. I'm a person that I like to have a group of people. I like to open myself up to interacting with different people of different backgrounds and all walks of life. So I try and understand stuff even if I'm not quite okay with it. I try and view it and understand stuff. At least try to see where they're coming from with things that they may believe in or how they feel about a certain thing, and not go to attack them personally for not believing in something that I was raised to believe in. And I personally, I rocks with Remy Ma. I like her husband Papoose. I rocks with Remy Ma. I'm a fan of Remy Ma. Remy Ma. I'm a fan of Papoose. So I don't necessarily think that using the word nigger from, or me hearing the use of a word nigga, nigga, yo, what up, nigga, well, what we going today, nigga, what up, nigga, whatever, however you want to use it, unless it's not, yeah, I would say if you're using it in a racist way, I probably would have a problem with it. But if you're just greeting me like, yo, what up, nigga, what you been doing today, or whatever, I'm not gonna be petty about it. If you are not African American and you're using it, I'm probably gonna be like, not shit, nigga, like what you doing? I mean, I don't find that it's offensive for somebody who's not my ethnicity to use the word nigga. And you can go in on me, you can have your opinion, you can have your comments. I'll take it, but I don't personally find that it's offensive to use the word nigga. And I don't think that I will ever stop using the word. However, I do feel that it is probably appropriate to not use the word in certain settings. So if I'm at work or whatever, I probably would not refer to a customer, even if they were African American, as nigger or whatever. I would sensitivity training. I feel like I know enough to know when it's appropriate to use the word, and I know when it's not appropriate to use the word. And when I'm in a close setting with just my friends or maybe family members, I may just use the word casually. But when I'm out in front of a complete stranger, I may not necessarily use the word. And I know I'm on live, and I know none of you guys personally. But I'm speaking of in person. Like if we were in a room together locally and I didn't know you, I probably would not use the word nigga. But if you were like a homie from another homie, whether regardless of what race you were, I probably would use the word nigga. And if you use it back to me in an a positive way, like yo, what up, like long time no see, what up, nigga, whatever. I'm not gonna be offended if you happen to be white or you happen to be Hispanic or some other nationality. I'm not gonna be offended by it. So I do agree with Remy Ma, and I think that we as a society we need to stop personally attacking people just because we do not believe in what they are actually saying. It's just like everybody's not gonna agree with me. I have best friends right to this day that we don't always agree on everything. Hell, my parents, I don't agree with everything that my parents did when I was a child. So you're not gonna always agree with everything a person say, but just because a person says something different from what you're not used to necessarily hearing, it doesn't mean that you should have a right to personally attack them or so on and so forth. Now I'm not even gonna hit on Kanye West because that is another topic, but I'm just gonna say this. Kanye deserves that same respect. Regardless of how you see him as a rapper, as a person, I personally believe that regardless of how black people view him, he has his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to love who he wants to love. He's entitled to be a Trump supporter. I may not personally agree with it. My friends may not personally agree with it, but he's still entitled to his opinion. And rather than personally attacking Kanye for being an outright Trump supporter, I just listen to him. I listen to him. If anything, I would probably want to have a conversation with him and just say, hey, so tell me, like, why do you want to support Trump again? Like, why would you choose to support him after this and that has been done? And I would listen to his response. Like person to person, I would listen to his response. But I'm not gonna outright attack a person just for believing in something or having an opinion that differs from mine. I feel like I learned that as a young person. I learned that like in elementary school to just understand that everybody around you in the world is never going to always agree with you. And for those who disagree with you, just listen to them, understand where they may come from, and keep it moving. It's not to say, oh, you're fucking stupid ass, you fucking sicko. What do you mean you fucking are a Trump supporter? Like, if you support Trump, you support Trump. It is what it is. I wouldn't disown you as a friend if you told me you voted for Trump. I would tell you, I just got a friend that voted for Trump. It's nothing personal. I'm not that person that go personally attacking people because they have different opinions from me. And I just feel like we all should start to follow that chain because everybody is quick to attack Kanye and say, "Oh, this man is crazy. He has mental issues," and he probably does have mental issues. I'm not a medical professional, and by any means, but I'm saying now I'm like, I would personally like it if people didn't always go to weren't always quick to throw that word out. I mean, come on, like you guys gotta be kidding me. But I'm gonna tell you today when after listening to Remy Ma's review, after listening to her response to whether or not she thought it was okay for African Americans, for non-African Americans to use the word nigger, it made me actually think of something. It made me actually think, like comparing other countries, because I know I'm a U.S. citizen, and I listen to, like, I go on YouTube and whatever, and I look at other videos, and a lot of people from other countries say, well, these horrific videos. It's not any. I don't even want to even bring up some of these videos, but some of them are like horrific events that happened recently in the past few years. And a lot of people always from other countries are quick to say, well, you know what? That gun stuff wouldn't have happened had you been living here in this country because we have stricter gun laws and we don't have to deal with so on and so forth. Or the use of the word nigger wouldn't have been an issue had we been living in this country because the use of the word nigger in this country would have landed you in jail. And it's actually crazy because I feel like I've only lived in the USA. I was born here. I've only lived in here all my entire life. But I do feel like we could definitely stand to gain from taking bits and pieces from other countries to add to our country to make a difference in what we do as a country. Like a lot of countries have stricter gun control laws where just by chance there is a lot less gun violence. A lot of country restrict what people can say, such as nigger. I read a comment, and I don't quote me on this, but I want to say it was from Argentina. And the person said if any of the citizens were caught using the word nigger, they would be fined and could actually be jailed for using the word nigger. And I'm thinking like, well, what if that was the case for the US? What if we had stricter gun laws? But you know what? We in this great country of the USA, I feel like we have honestly been given so many freedoms that when we go to argue for stricter gun control or restricted freedom of speech, as they call it, people are quick to holler, my rights are being violated. It's always the case. Every single time, people always holler, my rights are being violated. And it's like, personally, in my opinion, if somebody was to say, hey, you can no longer use the word nigger, I would not consider it a loss. I would not at all consider it a loss. If I owned guns and somebody said, well, we're going to take away your guns, I personally, just speaking for myself, would not consider it a loss. I'm just looking at I'm just looking at like stuff that I've researched online and just getting feedback from other people from different countries. I'm looking at the fact that some people say, well, compared to our national, like the national average for murders and with violence and deadly weapons using like guns, people say from other countries, well, we don't have to deal with that. Like all in last year, we had about 5 murders versus you guys last year have countless and hundreds of murders with deadly weapons. So I don't know if the USA is open to considering something like that, but it makes me as a citizen, it just makes me wonder, like, what would life be here in the USA as an African American male if we had stricter gun laws? What would the life be as an African American if we restricted the word nigger even from African Americans? And it's just not limited to just African Americans. It would be limited to everything. It would be limited to homosexual slurs. It would be limited to rape. Any sort of violence. We do have a high crime rate in involving guns here in the US, and we do seem to have a lot of racial stuff that goes on here in the US as well. So those are the main 2 things that I can actually think of. But those are not just the only 2 things that I'm actually speaking of. It can be anything. Anything negative. So I feel like if it affects the person or the if it's like a if it's affecting multiple people, um, a multitude of people, I do think it deserves consideration from the U.S. government to look into certain things. Obviously, no, you're not going to be able to always adjust everything to benefit every individual because we all interpret things a different way. So, but I feel like if you have millions of people arguing that hey, gun control needs to be a topic of discussion, then I do think gun control needs to be a topic of discussion. If you have so many of these prominent companies um, where people are making a or pitching a fit because certain people of high ranks and high statuses are using the word nigger, I do think that needs to be a topic of discussion. I do think it's, however, somewhat hypocritical because I can use the word nigga and say, yo, what up, nigga? What up, nigga, 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 nigga. And rappers, black rappers can use the word nigga, nigga, nigga. White rappers seem to get away with using the word nigga, nigga, nigga. But if the CEO of Google or Amazon use the word nigga, it becomes prime time topic on Fox News. It becomes a primetime topic on CNN. Oh, the CEO should use the word nigger, and they should be fired. And I just don't think that should always be the first resort when people are doing something that you don't necessarily agree with. Now, if a person is just racist and just have a racist history of doing things and they're in a position of power, I do not think they should remain in that position of power. But if people are just saying things, I don't always think it's I don't always think that everything that people say when it comes to the use of the word nigger is always the punishment should always be the way that it has resulted for some people. Like let's take Roseanne for instance. I don't know if you're familiar with the I don't know if you're familiar with Roseanne, but I just think that we do a lot of we're so quick to judge people based on the use of one word and or a statement or something that they made. I feel like we should probably judge people based on a pattern of things or a pattern of statements that they've made. Now, if a person is always constantly from year to year using defamatory remarks and saying, oh, nigga, nigga, nigger, referring to black people as monkeys and monkeys and monkeys and monkeys, yeah, they probably should not be in positions of power and they probably should lose out on opportunities. But if you get a person who's never been recorded to make such defamatory statements or crazy remarks like that, and they just happen to make a statement one time, I don't think their career should just be dissolved instantly because the public says their career should be dissolved instantly. I mean, I can only think of how much stuff that's talked about in private and so on and so forth. And I've worked for some companies and experienced some stuff and witnessed some things, and you guys will be surprised the way people really speak when they're in close quarters with everybody else or when everybody else is just not necessarily around. So it's almost like the Me Too movement. And I'm not taking anything away from the Me Too movement. I'm just saying all these women are actually coming out and they're saying that these guys did this and that to them. I'm not saying that they're lying. It just makes me wonder, like, have any of the other big time CEOs have done it? It just makes you skeptical. Like, out of all these years, all these people are coming out, all these women are actually coming out and are saying that these guys are actually harassing them, nearly almost raped them. And it just makes you wonder, like, if you currently work for a company, have you not necessarily wonder, like, well, damn, is there anything that the CEO of the company I work for done done? Like, it always seems like it's a story waiting to be revealed. Um, if you'd have asked me 7 or 8 years ago, would I have thought all these sexual allegations would have came out with these guys? I probably would have told you no. I would have honestly told you, no, 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 no. But it just it just shows you the type of climate that we're actually living in, and I'm actually somewhat happy that people are actually getting the courage to actually come out and just speak their truth and just say what they feel that was inappropriately done to them. And I am a proud advocate and supporter. I am sorry, I actually dropped my phone. I'm an actual proud advocate and supporter of the Me Too movement. I have nieces, I have a mother, I have sisters. So I would definitely be devastated if something like that would ever happen to them. And I'm gonna be honest, I've witnessed some inappropriate shit go on at my job, at my previous jobs. So I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm content that people are coming out and speaking up and saying things, and I feel like that would serve, that is possibly serving as a source of discouraging guys or big time people with power from doing these sorts of things in the future. Um, Another thing is, I wanted to talk to you guys about Melania Trump. Now I know you guys might not necessarily believe what I'm actually saying, but I kind of feel bad for her because I don't I don't personally feel like she's a supportive of what her husband is doing, but I feel like she seems in certain instances she take a lot of the backlash from what he actually does. And it's like, I don't know, like, why attack her for what her husband has done? I mean, you never know. You never know the circumstances of a person's relationship or why a person chooses to stay in a relationship. But I feel like it wasn't Melania who decided to detain immigrants and lock their children in cages. So don't attack her. If you want to vocalize and vent your frustrations, vent them in regards to her husband, not her. To be honest, in my point of view, I don't think Melania really has a say in anything that Trump actually does. I just feel like she's just the wife and she's just there. But it's not like she has a say. Her husband is like the president of the United States, and he's doing what he's doing, and a lot of people are not liking it, and some people are liking it. But I feel like just to remain to be fair, in all fairness, I don't think people should be necessarily attacking her for the decisions that her husband is actually making. Um, without not necessarily without even knowing why she's actually choosing to stay with him. I mean, people will probably attack her for the mere fact that she probably chose to divorce him. People probably say, "Oh, it's death do you part. You stick with your husband." So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I honestly feel like there has not been many recordings, if any, where Melania is actually out there advocating like, oh, you need to necessarily make sure you're a U.S. citizen. You deserve to be detained. Children, women, men, it doesn't matter. You deserve to be detained. You deserve to be deported. All the dreamers deserve to be deported and detained. You never once heard her actually say something like that. It was all on her husband. It's not on her. So I'm just like, I know when people say when you're married, you become one. But to be honest, I do personally think you need to separate people, because even if we are married, we are still two individuals. We have our own way of thinking, our own way of feeling. And to be completely honest, I never agree with everything that my spouse has always said. Hell, we may have debates about certain stuff. So I'm not gonna say that it would be appropriate for you guys to judge me based on something, based on an opinion, or based on the views of my spouse. We are still separate individuals, two different individuals. We even have made a commitment to be together, but it don't necessarily mean that because my spouse appears to not like a certain background or appears to be not for all people, that I should be categorized in the same instance. I should be categorized as feeling the same way as my spouse feels. Hell motherfucking no. That's just not me. Because this shit right to this day that my parents have done, not illegal, but it's shit to this day that my parents have done that I would have honestly done opposite. And it was not something that was taught. I just was like, no, I don't think I would have done it that way. I would have done it this way. So we're not always, because we come from the same family, we don't always necessarily hold the same views. And I feel like people should always keep an open mind in that. So when you go to critique or attack personally Melania Trump, if you're going to critique her on her own personal views, critique her on her own personal interviews that she has done where she's answered questions, and not based on the views of her husband. It irritates me a little bit, because it's like, damn, she got shit to do with her husband. Like, if you look at some of the interviews and some of the memes that be on Instagram and irritated, sometimes she look like she's fucking irritated with her husband. So why are you going after her because of something that Trump is doing that has nothing to do with her? And you should not necessarily penalize Trump for something that she might have done that offended a mass of people. So just be individuals. I'm the person. I get to know the person and like the person for myself. If I got friends that tell me, look, I don't like this motherfucker and I don't like him, I'm not gonna not like the person because my friends told me that they don't like the person. I'm gonna get to know the person for my motherfucking self, and I'm gonna decide whether or not I personally like them. And I keep it like that. So with that, I'm gonna wrap this up. I've actually been talking for 34 minutes and 22 seconds exactly. And this was just a random post. I have a lot of more stuff to a lot more things that I wanted to just to go live and discuss with you guys about. And I want to actually do that at a later date, but very soon. But I appreciate everybody who chimed in, who commented. I would love it if you could like and subscribe my channel. I'm open to all feedback, critiques. If it's something you want me to discuss here on live, I'm open to considering it. Until then, see you later and enjoy the rest of your night, wherever you are.